But this project today is a really, really cool project. We love this. We're going to be making a Christmas cookie sweatshirt because who does not love Christmas cookies?
This puff vinyl is like perfect for Christmas cookies.
Yes, because it kind of gives it like the look and the texture of like what a real cookie would be like. And then we use Caesar printable DTV or any other kind of printable vinyl that you have, and layer it over top of that puff to give it like that icing look.
Yes.
It's so cute.
It's like the royal icing cookies everybody loves.
Yes.
Very cute. So,
how are you all today? First of all, how stinking cute is this?
Merry Christmas.
Mary Chrysler. I'm obsessed with this like cookie, Christmas cookie sweatshirt, and I'm loving like the dark with the light colors.
Yes.
Of course, you can do this on whatever color sweatshirt that you want, but let's go overhead so you can really get a good look at what the puff, the Caesar DTV on the puff looks like. I just think it gives it such a realistic, like cute effect.
I mean, it looks like you slapped a cookie on that sweater.
It looks like you slapped a cookie on it. Right smack on it. I mean, and it's so simple. Like, I really think once we create this, you all are going to understand how simple this is. Now, we are going to be manipulating a PNG file today. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can manipulate some PNG files to separate these out and get these separate, because we do want to keep all of this. Like I said, these are print and cut images on the top. So with that said, let's go ahead and hop over into Design Space. So here in Design Space, you can see that we have 3 cookies. Now, you don't have to use just 3. I actually wanted to use more than 3, but the way that the vinyl, like the puff vinyl was cutting, it was gonna make them pretty small, and you can choose which cookies you want on your sweatshirt. You could do like family sweatshirts and everybody have different cookies.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or just do one large cookie and each person have a different cookie would be super, super cute.
That's cute too.
So let's hop over to our website and we're gonna go to our cut files, and I'm going to show you which cut file we're using. First of all, we're gonna sign in.
Bev says, this brings me back to puffy paints, but so much better. This is like,
oh my gosh, yes,
the modern day puffy paint.
Absolutely.
But way better, for sure. I don't know, I low-key love some puffy paint.
I do
puffy
too.
Paint sweaters. I would have probably been one of those people making those puffy paint sweatshirts.
Oh, I did.
Did you make some?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've ever made any.
Oh, I made puff paint sweatshirts, t-shirts, all the stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Loved it, was obsessed with it.
That's so funny.
So on our website, if you just search Christmas cookie, you can see there are multiple Christmas cookies that you can choose from. Like you could pick these Christmas cookies.
Those are cute.
Those are really cute. I was just feeling more of the, I don't like the muted tones for this one. I do like the bright tones. And here, why is it not popping up?
Oh.
Let's just type in cookie and see if it pops up.
I like that little Christmas tree and the gingerbread. Those were cute.
There they are.
Yeah,
it's under cookie design.
I do love those.
So this is the one that I used today, and we'll click on it to make it bigger. Cheryl asks, where do you get the puff vinyl? You can get it quite a few different places. We really love using 143 vinyl, which of course, if you all have been around our channel, you know that we have an affiliate program with 143, meaning that we will get like commission and things like that, but we still absolutely love them. They are a great retailer for vinyl, but we like using, today we're gonna be using this Caesar puff vinyl. That has been probably my favorite brand. And here in a minute, I'm gonna show you, we do have a reference if you use other vinyls, like other puff vinyls, because Alicia did a video not too long ago comparing multiple puff vinyls. You compared the Starcraft, the Caesar,
and Tech Wrap.
Puff vinyl. They all ended up working pretty good.
Yeah, but they have like different heat settings, different cuts, and yeah, there was, you guys have to watch that video if you're really wanting to learn in depth about puff vinyl only, that video goes into way depth. So.
Yes. So back to our share screen. You can see here, this is the actual cookie design that we are going to be working with today. What you're going to do is we're going to download that, and we're going to unzip this file. And then here in a minute, when we are ready to press our puff vinyl, we'll come back to the website and I'll show you where you can find that reference for all things puff vinyl. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head back to Cricut, and I'm going to actually just hide, let's just hide all of these. Unhide and hide.
So cute.
So hide all these. We're going to go to upload. You're going to upload image. Here's where you can either drag and drop or browse. So I'm just going to go to my downloads. I thought it unzipped. It did not. Oh.
There she goes.
Maybe. So let's just do this. Let's pull down here, pull up our Finder, and we're just going to drag and drop this here. We do want the PNG version. So we are going to go to complex because we want to make sure that we get all of the details. And we're going to go to continue. Now, here is where I need your attention. I need you to focus in because we're actually going to be using the background remover tool for this part. And you can see why. Because when we zoom in, we want to get rid of this brown layer because we don't want to print that. That's going to be our puff vinyl. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, you can even zoom in as much as you want. You're going to make sure you're on the manual select tool, and then you're just going to come in here and select that brown layer, and you see how it automatically goes away.
Magic.
So we're going to do that to... You can do it to all of the cookies, or you can just do it to the cookies you want. Now, one thing, this specific cookie right here was hard for me to remove that because it's doesn't recognize that pink and that the pink and brown. So you can see here, like it just got rid of both. And you can go back with the back arrows here. So see, I try to remove this little brown layer, but it removes both. So we're just going to remove the whole cookie because we just won't use it, okay? So now we're just going to remove the outside, those background cookie pieces of all of these other ones.
And you could technically remove just the ones you wanted to, right? Like if you saw 3 that you liked, you didn't. Do you see what I'm saying? You don't have to do them to all.
You don't have to do them to all. No, I don't think there's a way that you can hold shift and remove it all. It's individual select.
That'd be a cool little shortcut key though.
It would be, but I also it would be hard, I feel like, to do that because on these PNGs, like I've noticed, and you can see here, it removed that bow as well.
Oh, that one was cute too.
I know.
I like the ones that are bitten off of. Those are cute.
I know. I almost used, and we might use one of the ones that's bitten off of here in a minute.
I think that's
so this was another one that I was having issue with just because this pink and brown. But if you really want to use it, what you can do is use the actual erase tool and separate out. Now this was going to take a little bit of finagling, but you can separate out this brown here to where it's not touching the pink, and then come back in with the select and select everything around it, and then come in and erase and zoom in some more.
That's a good little hack though.
Move this erase tool down, and oh, that's way too small. And that's a little big. And then just come in here and kind of erase. Bev asked, can you change the color of the cookie? So changing the color of these predetermined PNG files, you can't because they are PNG. Now, if these were SVG files, you could, but like we were showing you earlier, we have a lot more than just this specific file as far as Christmas cookies. Now, this is one where I was able to remove the tan because it's like a different color tan. It's not as close to the other one.
It must not be, because it's very close. The pinks are very similar, but just a little darker maybe.
But you cannot change the colors of these because they are PNGs. You can change the color of SVG files, just not PNG.
Right. The SVGs are layered images, so they have like their individual layers. The PNGs are basically like flattened, or what they call vectorized, so they're like smushed together into one little image.
Yes.
So you can't like break them apart and color them.
So now that we have removed the cookie backgrounds or the cookie pieces of this file, we're going to hit apply and continue. We do want to keep them print and cut images because they are going to be layered on top of our puff vinyl. Then we are going to upload that into Design Space. Once we have done that, we're going to select and add it to Canvas. It will come in pretty large, which is great. That's what we're wanting. Now you're just going to choose which cookie pieces you want. So, Alicia, which ones do you think we should do? Do you think we should stick with the ones that we've done or do some new ones?
My votes are the Eaton one, the gingerbread one, and the Christmas wreath.
Okay. So, what we're going to do, we're going to grab a shape, okay? Now, this is one of those instances where I have found the slice function is still very useful. Actually, it's going to be the only thing that we can use for this, because I know there's been a lot of speculation about, are they going to get rid of the slice function? Are they not going to get rid of the slice function because of the combine function? This is one instance where I don't think they can get rid of the slice function for this reason, okay? Yep. So you're going to grab your basic shape, and this is going to be a lesson on slicing and manipulating like PNG files really and truly. So once we have our shape, we're going to come to the cookies that we want and slice them away. Because you see here, we can't, it's all one cookie design. We can't come in here and select each individual one, and we want to be able to do that. So by getting our shape, and I will actually move it to the back so you can see it better. And we're gonna put that shape either in front of or behind the cookie piece that we want, okay? And then we're going to select both layers because, like I said, that cookie design is one layer and our shape is one layer because you can only slice through 2 layers at a time. So once we have selected both layers, we're going to come down here to the right corner and select Slice. Now you're like, okay, what did that do? Well, here, let me show you. We're going to delete out that, and now I can move this piece around by itself, and these are all still together.
He's a free cookie.
He is a free cookie now. So what we're going to do, come back in here, grab another shape. Y'all, it really doesn't matter what shape you grab. You can work with any shapes. I'll show you again. We'll send this one to back. Make sure that that is on top of that shape. Then we're going to select both layers. We're going to go to Slice. And now we have this cookie by itself as well.
Now, someone was asking about ungrouping, and the reason in this instance that you can't ungroup is what we were kind of talking about earlier about PNGs are basically on one layer.
Yes.
So SVGs, they're layered images, and they typically come in, if there's different layers, you could ungroup the layers. But a PNG comes in as one flattened image. All the colors are flattened. You can't change the colors. Technically in Design Space, you can't. And so that doesn't allow us to ungroup anything. It's one image.
Okay, so let's think about it this way. Let's go to one and let's think about it this way. Because I feel like sometimes we get confused, but if we use it in terms that like more of like an everyday term, we start understanding more. Or I find myself when I take it and I compare it to something else, I start understanding it a lot more. So let's say we're gonna say an SVG has 5 layers. So let's say we have 5 pieces of paper, okay? When we bring it in, or if I take it to Alicia, those 5 pieces of paper, I'm gonna hold it together with a paper clip, okay? So I have those grouped together and held together with a paper clip, and I'm gonna take that to Alicia. That's my SVG, okay? A PNG is just one piece of paper. So there's nothing for it to paper clip it to. So that's why you can't ungroup it, because it's just one piece of paper. So what we're doing is kind of taking some scissors and cutting out each piece that we want. Does that make a little more sense?
Preach on it.
Preach on it.
Preach on it.
So
That's good.
So you can come through and you can slice out or cut out each of these individual ones so you can move them and manipulate them around by themselves. Or like what we're doing, we're just picking the 3 that we want, the 2, however many you want. We're just picking the ones that we want and slicing those out. And then you can hide all of these together. And then when you come back, if you want to create another one with different cookies on it, you can do that. Okay? So now we're just going to grab one more shape. This is a very rinse and repeat process.
Do you think that gingerbread's going to look good against that brown puff? Should we pick a different color?
I think we should pick a different one just because I had that same thought when I first did it, because I wanted to do the gingerbread on this one but didn't.
Okay, pick a different one.
Let's do this red ornament. I think
that.
that would be really cute. So I'm going to arrange and move it to back just so you can see, but you don't have to arrange and move to back every time, okay? You don't have to. It still works the same if it's in front. So we're going to select both layers, okay? And then we are going to slice that. And here we have our individual piece.
Beautiful.
Now, April says, so what if you go to a program and change a PNG to an SVG? That is something, if you know how to do that, more power to you. Then you can change the colors.
Yeah.
Then you can. But for this project, we are just doing this. Like I said, we have lots of different cookie files that you can choose from on our website. This is just the ones that we are using today. So now that we have our 3 cookies that we're using selected, I'm just going to hide this image because I no longer need it. And then I'm going to place my cookies, and I think I might change my background color just because it's harder to see this little white right here. Let's change it to gray. So we're going to then bring our cookies in, place them where we want them, okay? And then what I like to do is grab them all, align them, and we're going to center them vertically. That means they're centered along this axis, okay? Actually, shouldn't that be centered horizontally?
I'm just here to tell you that Cricut's had it backwards since I started using Design Space. And I always am like, that is backwards.
That
because
is
I'm
completely
aligning
backwards.
them horizontally, but it wants, and you have to select vertically. Technically, it's doing it horizontally. You're doing it along, this is a horizon right here.
Yes, yeah. No.
I know, it drives me
Along
crazy.
this axis, it should be center horizontally. Along this axis, it should be center vertically.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. I don't know what the thought process is.
Huh.
Well,
okay then. Perfect. So, what we're going to do now, we're going to bring our sweatshirt in. And y'all, I guess I should have, you know what I didn't do that I forgot?
What?
Go over all of our materials that we need today.
That's okay. We can
Which
do it
are very
now.
simple.
Yeah.
First of all, you need your sweatshirt. You need your puff vinyl, whether it's Caesar, Tech Wrap, Starcraft, whatever. You need your puff vinyl. And then you need some type of printable HTV. Today we are just using the Caesar Easy Color DTV because, first of all, we love it. We have a bunch of it. Mm-hmm. We have used other printable vinyls that have worked really well, but we have really been loving the Caesar DTV. So that is the type of printable vinyl that we are using today. And then a heat source, and that's it.
Not too bad.
Now, one thing that I do want to make sure you all know, when you are working with puff vinyl, you do need to have some type of heat source that you can apply pressure with because the pressure helps activate the puff. You are not going to be able to use like a mini easy press on puff. That is one thing that I don't think is possible because you do, whether you have an easy press or you have a heat press here, you are going to have pressure on that puff vinyl, okay? So, back to, we're measuring our sweatshirt. Where is the measuring tape? We normally have
Here's
one
one.
here. Perfect, thanks. Toss. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to measure our area to see what size we can work with. So sweatshirts, really and truly, as long as you have the vinyl that works, I think we could go up to 12 inches if we wanted to. We'll probably keep it around 11 for right now. So back in Design Space, you can see that currently we are sitting at about 7 inches in width. So I'm just gonna come up here to the top while all 3 of these are selected, and I'm just gonna pop in, let's go 11 and a half. I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
Because, and the good thing about this is technically you don't have to, when you're printing these images, you don't have to have them grouped together, because really and truly we could come in here and cut them out.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Manually place them.
And manually place them, because there's only 3 cookies.
Right. And they're like solid images,
Right.
super detailed.
Right. So we bumped it up to 11 and a half, and now while they're all 3 selected, I'm going to come over here to offset, and I am going to put an offset onto our cookies, and you can see they're kind of close together right now, because I do want a fairly large offset on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to select, I love working with my layers panel, because a lot of times I find myself clicking on an image on the canvas and then moving it, and it's not where I want it to be anymore. So I love working from our layers panel on the right side. So I'm just going to select the red ornament over here on the right, and I'm going to use my keyboard with my arrow keys, and I'm just going to move it over just a little bit. Someone said, sad, I only have the mini press, and then Tina said, yes, you could use regular HTV instead of puff. This would be a great project to use like a tan colored regular HTV, and you still get a very, very nice result with that. So I'm gonna move it over just a tad more, and then I'm gonna select my center cookie and move it over a couple clicks. Now, we're gonna select them all. We're looking at 7, 11 and 7. We'll bump it back down to 11 and a half just to be on the safe side. And then we're gonna select our offset.
Kelly, the slice option does work for all PNGs. You could slice a heart out of the middle of any PNG.
Yes.
Or you could slice a square out of any PNG image and do just the same as we did today.
Yes. So back to offset. You think that's enough room? I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know when it puffs.
I'd scooch it out just a little bit more.
Okay, we'll scooch it out just a little bit more. We'll go 3 on this side. Oh no, see what I mean?
That's why we use the layers panel.
That's why I use the layers panel. And we'll do 3, 4 on that side. Select them all, and then we're gonna go back to offset. That's a little better.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I'm kind of far away, but it
And
looks
apply.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna change the color of this offset to brown, just so I have an idea of how I want it. And I'm gonna make sure this offset is a basic cut, okay? You have to make sure you change your offset to basic cut. Now, once we have done all of that, we're ready to make it, y'all. Ready to make it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Make It. You can see that and we're gonna move this guy over to this page because we have plenty of room. Cricut tries to do this to me every single time.
I know. Why would it even do that? That's plenty of space. There's
plenty of room. Plenty of room. So we're going to make sure these are all 3 on the same page. Once again, remember, you do not have to have you don't have to have these in order, because I like to manually place them. Now, if you don't want to place them by hand, you can actually use heat transfer tape. But these were very easy to just place down by hand, not a problem. So we are going to make sure that these are going to cut. Once again, for printable vinyl, you do not have to mirror it, okay? Let me say that again. For printable vinyl, you do not have to mirror it because we're going to print it out and then it will be laid down on our shirt.
Virtually like a sticker.
Yes.
That you apply heat to. Yeah.
Yes. Now, this does have to be mirrored, okay? This piece, we do have to mirror because we are cutting it on puff vinyl, and it is going to have to be mirrored. Do you care to run and grab me a 12 by 24 inch mat if you don't care?
Will.
And while you do that, grab the heat transfer tape just in case.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. We're going to send this one to our printer. We are using our Canon TS9500 series. For this, I am going to add the bleed just because I don't want any white showing around it, and we are going to use our system dialog, okay? From there, we're going to print it. Ours always pulls up behind there. We're going to make sure it is on best quality, and we are feeding from the rear tray just because that's where it is, and we are going to hit print. Why would you mirror anything without a word? Mirroring that because I want it to be on the correct side. Like I want it to be in the order that I put it. So if I didn't mirror it, it's going to be the opposite of the way that I put it in Design Space. So in Design Space, I had the wreath, the cookie, and then the ornament. If I didn't mirror it, it would be the ornament, cookie, and then the wreath. Let's talk about this puff vinyl because this is when Alicia and I started using the term carrier sheet down instead of shiny side down. So if we go overhead, you can clearly see that there is shiny side here, matte side here. So naturally, if you were working with HTV, I would put shiny side down. Am I right? Like,
yes.
Would you all not do the same thing?
Yes.
Exactly. We would all do the same thing. However, if you look at this, let me grab this corner. The carrier sheet on this is the matte side. Okay, do you all see this? So the matte side is the carrier sheet. So it needs to be matte side down, okay? So we're putting, and this is why it is very important, depending on what brand of puff vinyl you use, that you reference our puff vinyl reference sheet. So let's go back to our share screen and let's go to first of all, I'm gonna show you where you can find your references on your the Maker's Gonna Learn website. So when you go to your dashboard, what you're gonna do is you are going to go to your resources, okay? And here we have a puff vinyl reference sheet. So looking at this, at the bottom you see always cut with the carrier sheet facing down, and you press with the carrier sheet facing up, okay? Because I'm pretty sure Tech Wraps was shiny side was the carrier sheet.
Yes.
And the dull side was the actual vinyl, and then Starcrafts was even different than that.
Yeah, so you just need to check whichever vinyl
Yes.
you end up purchasing. That's why that reference guide says carrier sheet facing down, because it could be shiny or it could be matte.
Right.
So you just have to kind of peel the corner back and check it whenever you receive it. We are using Caesar today, right? Caesar puff. So this one
And
actually
it's not
has
sticking at all.
Oh, okay. I have another
Because
mat.
of this matte carrier sheet.
Yes,
It's not
I have
sticking.
another 24-inch mat. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold the phone, people.
So a lot of times, so we did have, Kelly asked, so do you test that every time? If you know what brand of vinyl you have, you don't have to test it every time, but if you are working with a new brand of vinyl, yes, I highly suggest you test it to see what side is the carrier sheet. And I'm gonna use an example. We actually volunteered at an event maybe like a month or so ago, and we used HTV vinyl, and some of those vinyls had matte carrier sheets. Some of them had shiny carrier sheets, and knowing the difference was super hard. So we got mixed up and used it like
Backwards
so many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we are taping down our puff vinyl because it's not sticking to our mat, and I truly think that it is because of the carrier sheet. So I'm just making sure that it stays on our mat here.
Carol just said, is anyone having trouble with printing cups?
I was just talking about that.
Oh, were you?
Yes.
I had issues with it on Friday, but we were using glossy paper.
Well, she said that she called Cricut and that they said that it was something that they were having trouble with and it wasn't her machine.
Okay.
So I wonder if it was an issue just like with Cricut in general.
I know. I wonder too.
Load this into our machine. And while that is cutting, we're going to reference back to our puff vinyl. We're going to look at our heat settings, and you can see here that we are needing our heat press set at 280 degrees. So we're going to play this, get that started, and then I'm going to come over here and bring my temperature down because the puff vinyl, you are working with puff vinyl at a lower heat setting. Okay. So now I'm going to take my True Control knife. Let's move this. Let's get this table a little more nice looking so you guys can see how we, that's really how we truly work if we're being honest.
Yeah. The craft room right now
is something else.
It's been worse, but it's not in its best shape. And I even cleaned for like, I don't know, 30 minutes. I cleaned my desk off this morning and it's just right back at it.
Okay.
When we're in the middle of doing stuff like working on courses and stuff, it gets crazy in here. The film room is packed full.
Uh-huh.
It's just a mess.
This is the reason that I really don't like working with actual hooded sweatshirts and a clamshell heat press. But it's okay. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that I've got that on there, let's cut this off and then we will weed it and put our other on this. We'll just use it on this mat. It's all good. You don't have to have it if it's 12 by 12, 12 by 24.
Kim's asking why, and I might have missed you saying this, why did you put it on a long mat? Because the
I put it on a long mat because it was actually it was a little over like so if you are only using a 12 by 12 inch mat, then you need to make sure your offset and everything else that you are creating is under 11.5 inches. This one was just over 11.5 inches by like
just
a hair.
barely, yeah.
And really and truly, I just was lazy and didn't want to go back in there and resize it.
Yeah. But really, if you only had the 12 by 12, you could just resize it in design space so that you, even with your offset, everything was under 11.5 inches.
Yes. So the short answer, why did I use this mat? Because I was lazy and didn't want to change the size.
Yeah.
Short answer.
But you can.
But you can. Absolutely. One thing about this puff vinyl is the carrier sheet is pretty thick. Yes. So it's sometimes hard to like cut through this carrier sheet, I have noticed.
Did it cut the vinyl good?
Yeah. Cut the vinyl great.
Okay. I love weeding puff vinyl. It weeds
It weeds like a dream.
Yeah, and where it's thicker, it just, I don't know, it just feels good. It weeds better.
I mean,
look at that. Would you just look at it?
Beautiful.
I love the little eating cookies, my favorite. So cute.
We're going to take this masking tape off the bottom here as well, just so we don't miss that. Okay. Now that that is weeded and done, Alicia made a really, really good comment, and that is to show you all, Here you can see a really good representation of why we want to add bleed, because when we do our print and cut, we want to make sure our Cricut cuts where there is literally no white showing, okay? This is one we don't want white showing because we don't have a white offset. So if there was a white offset here, we wouldn't need to add the bleed. But this is one where we have color, we don't want to see white on the edges, so we do add the bleed, okay?
Then if our print and cut is not perfect, it won't show as badly because we have a little layer of cushion around the image.
And I'm just going to use this 12 by 24 mat because it's what I have sitting here. And we are going to cut this on, we're going to browse all material, and we're going to cut this on printable vinyl. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying to move my stuff out of the way. Let's do printable iron-on light. Okay, y'all, we're going to try one more thing real quick. See if this works. Although it shouldn't, because these black marks
are matte.
Are very, very dark.
And matte already.
And matte. We're going over them with a Sharpie to see if it's any better. We're going to try, and maybe it's the matte. I'll put it on this mat, but I don't think that's the case.
I've got a bad feeling. I hope that it works, though. I'm going to send good juju.
Now, back here, browse all material. We're going to go back to printable vinyl. Okay, it says it's done cutting.
All right.
It did, it cut it.
So weird. I guess the Sharpie hack really works.
Y'all saw it here first. The Sharpie hack really works. So now I'm just going to peel up. Oh.
Didn't cut all the way through.
Ooh.
Did it mostly cut?
Mostly.
Ugh. Come on now.
Come on now.
Come on with it.
So it's a good thing that I turned the bleed on, because I don't know if it is a Cricut issue with print and cut. I know you all were saying that you all were having issues as well. But if I would not have had the bleed on, there would have been like so much white showing, because it's cut around the bleed. Like, and you can see the bleed. It's not terrible, but
yeah.
Anyway,
We got
at least it gave us time for our heat press to cool down.
Yeah.
So that's perfect.
A gift.
Perfect. So what we're going to do now is we're going to press our puff vinyl first. Now, I have this upside down. So we're going to make sure, I'm going to turn this around so I make sure that I get it right, because I want to work on it from this side. So we're going to place our puff vinyl where we want it. This is a really good, normally we have one in here, our t-shirt guide. If we don't worry about getting up. We'll just go with it. We're going with our heart.
You do 3 finger widths.
Yep, oh, that's a little much. It's okay, I think I did.
I feel like we're pretty good at eyeballing.
Yeah. But if you're not good at eyeballing, yes, Diane, you would have to calibrate your machine. If you're not good at eyeballing, then this is a good place for your t-shirt ruler to come out, okay? So we are going to press this 280 degrees for, on the guide, it says 15 seconds. I'm only pressing this for 7, and I'll tell you why. Or really and truly, you can press it just until it has enough puff to it, because you're gonna have to press it again, and you don't want the puff vinyl to be overworked, okay? So we're only gonna press this for a few seconds because it really doesn't take long for it to kind of like activate and stick to your hoodie. So we're pressing this about a medium pressure. We'll do 4-5 seconds. Okay, you can see it's already puffed.
Little
okay?
cookies.
The cookies are already puffed.
The color's so close to looking like an actual cookie.
I know. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in here and place my Caesar DTV down. And one really good thing about this project is you don't have to be perfect with where you place these, where you place like the icing.
Adds character.
Which it's pretty dang close. But this is where if you're not comfortable, or if you're working with a design that is not easily like picked up, that is where you're gonna use, it's actually like Caesar, it's like DTV, or it's like a heat transfer tape.
Yes.
With printable vinyl, you are gonna have a, if you're working with very intricate detail things, you are gonna need heat transfer tape, but this one you don't, for this specific design, you don't have to. So we're just gonna place these down where they go. I'm gonna take this sheet and cover them back up and make sure that all of my puff vinyl is covered back up, so don't throw that carrier sheet away, okay? And then we're gonna press it, we're gonna keep it on 280 because once again, we don't want the puff vinyl to be overworked, so we don't need it at a higher temperature. And the DTV actually will adhere at a lower temperature, so we're going to press it for another like 15 seconds.
So we had a couple questions. Someone asked, how much is the annual membership? And it comes out to $16.25 a month. If you were just doing the normal monthly, it would be $27 a month. Typically, we do have a monthly special right now that's half off of the monthly, which makes it like $13.50. So that's kind of nice. But if you do yearly, it's much less. So
look how cute.
Ooh, that looks cute.
Look how cute.
I love our cookie choices.
I love the cookie choices.
Oh,
so y'all,
I love it.
like how easy was that?
If we didn't have to,
what I used to put over this, like when I pressed it the second time, was I just used what we call the carrier sheet from the puff vinyl.
Yes.
So I just kind of laid it over top of all of it.
I like to use our resources around here.
Oh, for sure. Like if I don't have to use the heat transfer tape, I'm not gonna waste it. That's why using that, because it was still sticky, like really and truly, you could have probably taken that and cut it into little pieces and like picked those up and laid them down individually with with the carrier sheet from the puff vinyl.
That's very true.
Crafting, I feel like, is all about using the resources you have.
Being crafty, period.
Being crafty, period, means you come up with ways to save money. You come up with ways to do things yourself. So
it's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
it really is. It's put that on a t-shirt. Crafting, ... It's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
Seriously.
Really.
Oh, that's so funny.